Bitcoin is currently trading at $115,884. In this video, we are going to talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Solana. Things very exciting, so make sure to watch until the end. So, what about Bitcoin? We have said about Bitcoin. Breakout, retest, and here's the push. So, is it possible that the push is over? Might be even possible, because we are forming a rising wedge. This rising wedge can still extend more to the upside, so our target is still ongoing, $117,700 for Bitcoin. There I would be a bit more careful. Once we break this sustainable to the upside, where we see some candle closes over $117,700, getting our retest, then I think the target is going to be between $119,380 to $123,277. So far, here's the circle, here's the sell-off. This is a scenario which I had on the chart a few weeks back. We also have said down below here that here was the breakout and that we should get into that circle, and from there might sell off a lot. So still target $117,700. There I would be careful because we can still see a huge sell-off because we have fair value gaps down to $101,160, and from there we can form a new all-time high for Bitcoin. So far everything looks good to me. The first price mark, $115,430. If they break to the downside, then I would look for the lows here. If we also break them to the downside, then I think that this might be our top, and the chance of selling off is very high afterwards. Let's not talk about Ethereum right now. Let's talk about the Bitcoin dominance. So what did we say about the Bitcoin dominance? We have said about the Bitcoin dominance that this here is a falling wedge, means this is a bullish chart pattern. If the Bitcoin dominance goes up, then the altcoins are getting outperformed by Bitcoin, so Bitcoin is stronger than if the Bitcoin dominance is going up. If the Bitcoin dominance is dropping, then the altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin. So we have said we have a bullish chart pattern, which is in orange, the falling wedge, but we also have here our bear flag, which broke to the downside. So in my opinion, once Bitcoin goes to $117,700, if the Bitcoin dominance is dropping to 57.3%, then the altcoins still have some upside potential, which is not even that bad. So that's why I want to jump into Ethereum. So about Ethereum, it might be possible that the push is over. So let me just take out all the price marks which we have here so we can see a bit better. So we have said $4,480, $88 was the target when we were right here in this market stage, even down below here. So basically we went there. We have also said once we break it to the upside, here was the breakout, here was the retest, then we should see the 4.7K. We are there. So basically, yes, we can still get more upside potential. I still see that because the Bitcoin dominance shows weakness, so the altcoins still have some time to shine. But for Ethereum, we had a scenario in mind because we have had in the past a falling wedge which broke to the downside and got its retest. We can just start the sell-off. Here's the maximum length of that rising wedge, not from down here. We can start from up here, and then the target is still ongoing, $3,430. We didn't invalidate this bearish chart pattern, and this is what I have drew here. In my opinion, the push to 4.7K, we had that on chart quite a while. We got this push so far. Afterwards, I think a huge sell-off is going to happen. Yeah, we just have to measure it, and here is the measurement of the maximum extension, so $3,430. And here is a less bearish target, which is just the mid-range target of that rising wedge. We put it here to the highest point, and we get 3.7k as a target. Am I going to jump into some short positions? Not right now. I would still wait, because if I go into a short position right now, then we also have to say we have a fair value gap up to 4.9k, and we didn't break any kind of trend line to the downside. So if I want to play speculative, then I still have to wait a bit longer. So all the altcoins are still having their push because of the Bitcoin dominance, which is also dropping. Also waiting for Bitcoin to hit the 117,700 US dollar. Then Ethereum might be somewhere here. And then I can open some speculative short trades, which I can scale up in the future for this whole down movement, which we have just measured. So for now, everything looks good. And yes, Ethereum can still get a new all-time high, just because I have this scenario in mind and on the chart, which I think the chances of are a lot. There's still a chance that we see a new all-time high and invalidate the old bearish rising wedge. So keep that in mind. Just because we have some speculations, it doesn't mean that this is going to happen. So what about XRP? So we have said $3.08. This was our target, our first target of the breakout, which we had right here over the $2.90. Here was the target of the inverted head and shoulders formatation. So I would just draw you that again. So this right here was the inverted head and shoulders formatation, which broke to the upside, got its retest, follow through, target $3.08, got hit. I can take this one out of the chart. We can also say $3.08 broke to the upside. If we zoom in, breakout, retest. XRP looks long to me. Over $3.14. If we also break it to the upside and retested it, then XRP is continuing getting long to me, at least into $3.30. From there, we have to see if we are going to sell off a lot, because like I said, if I see Bitcoin at 117,700 US dollar and Ethereum maybe at 4.7k, 4,750 US dollar, and yes, XRP can outperform those coins, then I would be actually careful if Bitcoin and Ethereum gets into those areas and XRP is up here. Then I would considering taking speculative short trades for this kind of price movement afterwards. Yeah, people say it is very bullish because the Fed is cutting rates most likely. Yes, the chances are very high that we see at least a 0.25% rate cut, but this is already priced in. So if we see, like, if we actually get a 0.25% rate cut, then I actually doubt that the market is going up. I think the opposite is going to happen. I think people are going to sell off. So be careful. We need to have a 0.5% rate cut to get a bullish movement in the crypto. So keep that in mind. So far, everything looks good. Like I said, still $2.90 in yesterday's update. Once we break that to the downside, then it would be negative. But here, we broke to the upside so far. Everything looks good for XRP. XRP looks long to me. If we now look over Solana, then I have also said that bearish chart patterns. This right here, rising wedge. It didn't break to the downside. It had to break to the downside to get activated. It didn't. It broke to the upside. So basically, yes, we can have bearish chart patterns on the chart, and yes, we can also invalidate them and be bullish. And once we break those kinds of bearish chart patterns to the upside, so we invalidate them, then the push is impulsive, like we can see here. Breakout, retest, impulsive. There is no chart pattern which I can see in this kind of price movement. Make sure that those kind of price movements are going to get corrected sooner or later. Like we have seen here, huge price movement to the upside, got corrected. Price movement to the upside like this, got corrected. So here, this is one big push, it can get corrected. The question is, where is it going to get corrected? So far, target is still ongoing, 244 US dollar to 254 US dollar. If we are more bullish, then we can even get into 282 US dollar for Solana before we sell off a lot. So keep that in mind. In that fair value gap we also went, so I can also take this one out of the chart. So everything looks good to me, everything looks long to me. The question is, where is the push going to end? If you also ask yourself the question, then you can subscribe my channel, because that question I'm going to answer you once I get the chart patterns for it and the support and trend lines. So basically hit the subscribe button and we see each other in the Sui, Avalanche, HBAR, Dogecoin update. Afterwards I will release the Render, Tau, Kaspa and ONDO update.